Every single second of your life, you are under attack. Right now, there's an invisible armada of billions of microscopic organisms pounding against your body, looking for a place to call home. The only physical barrier keeping this relentless swarm of bacteria, viruses, and fungi on the outside is a thin, continuous layer of skin. If they get through, your body relies on a highly specialized, multi-stage defense protocol. It involves guards, heavy infantry, intelligence officers, and dedicated weapons factories working in tandem to keep you from, well, dying. Biological survival is an active, endlessly coordinated war, fought entirely in the dark. It usually starts with something completely mundane. You step on a rusty nail, and it tears through those fleshy biological layers. The barrier is breached. The organisms waiting on the outside seize the opportunity. They flood into the open wound and immediately start exploiting your body's resources. This chart shows the exponential growth curve of a bacterial population over a few hours. Because they double their numbers roughly every 20 minutes, a small scouting party quickly builds into a massive invasion force. If your internal defense network fails to mount a localized response, right here, right now, a totally mundane scrape will kill you. The first responders to arrive are your guard cells, known as macrophages. These are massive, heavy-duty defenders stationed near every border region of your body to suffocate localized attacks. Their combat strategy is simple and blunt. They grab the intruders, swallow them whole, and trap them inside a membrane, where they are dissolved by enzymes. A single macrophage can devour up to 100 bacteria before it tires out. To make fighting easier, they also trigger an inflammatory response. They command nearby blood vessels to flood the battlefield with water, creating the mild swelling you notice around a fresh cut. But if the invaders multiply too fast and the macrophages are overwhelmed, they send out a distress signal. They release messenger proteins to summon furious, heavy backup, the neutrophils. Neutrophils leave their patrol routes in your blood and rush to the wound. They fight so violently, generating destructive barriers and toxic traps, that they actually kill your own healthy cells in the crossfire. Brute force works, but it demands a severe biological cost. Neutrophils are so toxic to your own tissue that evolution programmed them to commit suicide after 5 days, completely preventing them from causing permanent tissue damage. When blunt force fails to contain the breach, the body has to shift tactics. It moves from localized combat to a systemic, strategic response. This is where the intelligence officer of the immune system steps in, the dendritic cell. It slips into the active battlefield to collect physical samples of the enemy. This diagram outlines the process. It rips an invading bacterium to pieces, displaying fragments on its outer membrane. Looking at this sample, the cell makes a strategic choice: deploy an antivirus unit to hunt infected cells, or an antibacteria army. It selects the proper countermeasure. Once the analysis is complete, it retreats from the battlefield entirely. It undertakes a day-long journey to reach the body's primary command center, the lymph node. Millions of frontline soldiers are fighting and dying in the wound right now, but that overwhelming combat power is completely useless without actionable, precise intelligence to guide it. Inside the lymph node, the scale of reserve forces is staggering. Billions of dormant helper T cells wait here, each born with a unique biological setup. The dendritic cell searches through this massive crowd. It is looking for the single helper T cell possessing the exact biological receptor to perfectly lock onto the enemy fragment it brought back from the front lines. When it finally finds that one specific match, a chain reaction kicks off. The activated helper T cell rapidly duplicates thousands of times, building a specialized command squad tailored specifically to this invader. A portion of this new squad travels deeper into the node. Their job is to meet up with dormant B cells, awaken them, and turn them into active weapons factories. These factories work furiously, mass-producing millions of tiny, custom-engineered proteins, bursting rapidly into the bloodstream. You know them as antibodies. The body's entire strategy has transitioned. It has stopped fighting blindly and is now manufacturing targeted, precision biological weapons. Back at the site of the original wound, the frontline cells are dying, the surrounding tissue is taking serious damage, and the bacteria are winning the war of attrition. Then, the cavalry arrives. Billions of those custom-built Y-shaped antibodies pour out of the bloodstream and flood directly into the battlefield. This diagram shows their mechanical function. The antibodies physically latch onto the exterior of the invading bacteria. They stun the intruders, cripple their movement, and render them completely defenseless. This combined team effort tips the balance of power. The paralyzed bacteria are now incredibly easy targets, allowing the surviving macrophages to consume them and wipe out the infection. With the threat neutralized, a strict energy conservation protocol takes over. The factory shut down, and the redundant immune cells quietly commit suicide to prevent the body from wasting resources on an idle army.
A select few cells remain alive and stay behind in the system. These are your memory cells. This highly coordinated mechanical war stopped a rusty nail from ending your life today, and it left behind a permanent upgrade. If this exact enemy ever tries to breach your skin again, your immune system will eradicate it before you even notice.